Years after Steve Jobs' death, Apple's old headquarters seemed to carry the weight of time, resting in a quiet, deep slumber. The first rays of spring sunlight streamed through the office windows, while a maintenance crew cleaned the walls, ceilings, and hidden corners. The building's stone walls, rusted metal doors, and wooden floors silently bore the wear of decades. Each step creaked beneath Michael's feet, heightening his curiosity. The faint hum of the wind through the windows seemed to carry whispers of history into the rooms. Michael, a young employee, noticed a protrusion in the corner of the old archive room that no one else seemed to see. As he approached out of curiosity, he realized it was actually a small hatch. When he pulled it open, a dusty box emerged from beneath the surface. Strange symbols covered its lid, as if it were a time capsule. Michael held the box in his hands and brushed off the dust, his heart racing. Could this really belong to Steve Jobs? He whispered to himself. Inside the box were yellowed papers long forgotten, a letter, and a few sketches. The edges of the papers were worn, the ink slightly faded, but the writing was still legible. Michael felt his fingers trembling as he held the letter, a mix of excitement and apprehension surging through him. The discovery of the box both excited and puzzled Apple's management. In the executive room, the letter was placed in the center of the table. The CEO asked, "Is this really Steve Jobs?" The executive beside him shrugged slightly. "I don't know, the symbols, the sketches. They are very detailed, but it also feels like an ad campaign. Maybe it's a joke." As the letter was slowly opened, everyone's breath was taken away. Inside were sketches of future devices, technology prototypes, and cryptic instructions. Some parts were encrypted with strange symbols. At first glance, the letter seemed impossible. It contained ideas that pushed the boundaries of the tech world. Michael whispered without taking his eyes off the letter. Could Jobs really have left such a vision? Meanwhile, the other employees in the room examined the letter with a mixture of awe and fear. Some held the papers in their hands, while others scanned them slowly with their eyes. Everyone shared the same question. Were these details real or just an illusion? Once the letter surfaced, the media immediately got involved. Initially, most people considered the discovery to be a fake marketing stunt. News channels ran headlines such as "Steve Jobs' secret letter found," while social media users debated the authenticity of the letter. Some tech blogs began sharing detailed analyses of the symbols and sketches. People were amazed as they looked at the sketches of devices that had never existed. Some depicted innovations beyond imagination. The first astonishing developments came shortly thereafter. Some technologies described in the letter began appearing in the press as completely new inventions. For example, a health device had been developed to collect and analyze biological data from the human body. The media emphasized that this concept was something no one had ever conceived before. Apple engineers were shocked to see the ideas in the letter materializing one by one. Michael stared at the prototype in the lab, unable to look away from the screen. This is exactly as the letter described, but how? Other tech companies around the world were equally stunned. Years after Jobs' death, the fact that a letter could predict the future had mesmerized everyone. Michael visited the lab every day, examining the letter and discovering new details that heightened his excitement. He felt not only like an employee, but almost like a participant in Jobs' legacy. Talking to his colleagues, he said, "These symbols aren't just about devices. They're describing a way of life." The lab atmosphere was filled with both curiosity and silent admiration. One day, as Michael studied the sketches, He realized the future devices conveyed not only technological innovation, but also a social vision. For example, one device monitored people's daily health data in real time, while also reminding them of ethical boundaries and privacy guidelines. This realization sparked profound curiosity in Michael. Jobs' message was not just about invention, it was a call to responsibility. The encrypted sections of the letter kept Apple's expert team occupied for days. Michael stayed late nights in the lab, attempting to decode the symbols, sometimes falling asleep and dreaming of Jobs walking through his old office. The boundary between dream and reality blurred as each solved code seemed to unlock another door. When the code was finally deciphered, the message left everyone in deep reflection. Jobs had not only left new devices and technologies in the letter, he had left a warning to humanity. Inventing technology is not enough. We must protect humanity, make ethical decisions, and act responsibly. This message became a turning point in the tech world. Jobs' genius was not limited to creating products. He had left a vision for the betterment of humanity. As time passed, discussions about the letter intensified in the media and on social media. People began interpreting Jobs' vision in various ways. Some considered the message a form of prophecy, while others reflected on the balance between technology and ethics. Apple employees, inspired by the letter, paid greater attention to ethical standards in their projects. In labs, the development of new devices prioritized human health, environmental protection, and social responsibility. Following the letter's revelation, a major event was organized in Apple's conference hall. Media personnel and employees gathered together. The CEO took the microphone as the world's eyes turned toward him. Steve Jobs didn't just leave us the devices. He left us a responsibility to use technology correctly, to protect humanity, and to make ethical choices. For a brief moment, the audience fell silent. In that moment, everyone realized Jobs' genius was not only about innovation, but also about serving as a guide for humanity. The audience and the world began to think differently under the influence of the letter. Curiosity and admiration shifted many people's perspectives on technology. This message served as a reminder not only to a technology company, but to all of humanity about its responsibilities. When Apple made the letter public, viewers were asked, if you were in this position, how would you interpret this message? How responsible are we toward technology? These questions appeared on screens, sparking reflection on personal lives. At the story's conclusion, the letter's box slowly closed as soft music played. Viewers were reminded that Jobs' legacy was not just about products, but about thought and responsibility. Some considered that Jobs might have truly foreseen the future, while others accepted that the message was simply a reminder. But one thing was certain: Steve Jobs had shown that technology was not only a creative force, but also a responsibility to humanity. As the letter became a turning point in the tech world, Michael and Apple employees, even after returning to their daily routines, could not shake the influence of the mysterious box and its coded message. Everyone, while working on their projects, remembered Jobs' vision and warning, striving to make ethical decisions for humanity's future beyond devices. Days, weeks, and months passed, and the influence of the letter became even more apparent. Apple embedded ethical standards into their new projects, and other tech companies reevaluated their own technologies, inspired by Jobs' message. The media kept the story in the spotlight, and viewers continued debating it across social media. People recognized that Jobs was not only a product creator, but also a visionary and a guide for humanity. If you were inspired by this story, don't forget to support our channel by subscribing and turning on notifications. And we wonder, in our next mysterious story, which celebrity's life behind the scenes should we reveal to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's explore together. This channel will grow with you and you will be part of every story.